Hi everybody, my name is Rupa, working as assistant professor in Chevron Engineering College. I'm dealing the subject electrical machines too, and in this alternators, I'm dealing the chapter. So in this alternators, I'm going to deal about the silent pole synchronous machine. So actually we have completed the principle of operation of silent pole synchronous machine. It is having two types of axis, D axis and Q axis. This D axis is field pole axis. It is on the poles, it is directed to on the poles, and the field pole axis passing through the center of the interpole space, it is called as quadrature axis or Q axis. Okay, so see here, the armature current will be resolving into two types of components, ID, which is perpendicular to E naught, and IQ, which is along the E naught. See here, you can see in the phasor diagram, ID, which is perpendicular to E naught, and IQ, which is along the E naught, right? And the armature reactance will be having two types of components, Q axis armature reactance XD, and it is associated with ID, and D axis armature reactance XQ, it is related with IQ. Okay, so from this I can say that XD is equal to XAD plus XL and XQ is equal to XAD plus XL, and other equation, always the XAQ is less than XAD. Okay, so XQ will be less than XD, that nothing but XD will be always greater than XQ. Now we will go into the phasor diagrams of a silent pole synchronous machine. Here I am showing you the equivalent circuit in figure A. This is the equivalent circuit of the silent pole synchronous generator, and the components ID and IQ will be providing component voltages J ID XD and J IQ XQ. So IQ XQ is voltage and IQ XD is also a voltage. So for a lagging power factor, I am taking it that. And this armature current, what I have said, it is dissolved into two components. It's rectangular components with respect to the axis for the excitation voltage E naught. Okay, and the angle phi, this one, this is between E naught and IA and E naught. This is angle phi. From E naught to IA, that angle is called as phi. It is called as internal power factor. Okay, phi is called as internal power factor, and there is a vector for the armature resistance drop IARA drop. It is drawn parallel to IA, right? So it is drawn parallel to IA. IA is like this. So from V, I am drawing IARA. So we have to draw the phasor diagram for this equation E naught. E naught is equal to, what is the formula? V plus IARA plus J into ID XD plus J into IQ XQ. Nothing but ID XD and IQ XQ are nothing but voltage drops. So here I can write totally completely ID plus IQ is equal to IA. Okay. So E naught is equal to V plus IARA plus J into ID XD plus J into IQ XQ. So if RA is neglected, the phasor diagram will be becoming like this. Okay, so but I am showing you in the phasor diagram, I am not neglecting, but if in the equation, if RA is neglected, the equation will be like this. Okay, so I am drawing the phasor diagram for this first equation, complete equation of E naught. E naught is equal to V. So this is the V vector. For V, I have to add IARA. RA drop will be, IARA drop will be parallel to the IA. So IARA drop will be parallel. So IA is like this. So IARA drop is also like this. We have to add IARA to V. So from ending of V, I have to start IARA drop. Okay. So after that, vector for drop ID XD, it is drawn perpendicular to ID. Okay, so this is ID. For ID XD, or we can consider IA also. Okay, or perfectly we can consider ID XD drop perpendicular to ID and IQ XQ drop perpendicular to IQ. Okay, so ID is like this, ID XD is perpendicular means like this. Okay, 90 degrees. This is like this, perpendicular means like this. So for IA RA drop, I have to add ID XD, right? So for IA RA drop, I have to start the ID XD from the IA RA. So ID XD, I am starting from here, end of IA RA. So ID XD, right? And next, I have to add IQ XQ for ID XD, right? So IQ XQ will be perpendicular to IQ, right? So this is IQ, right? This is IQ. So perpendicular means like this, 90 degrees. So for ID XD, I have to add IQ XQ. Okay, so IQ XQ like this. And after adding both, what will you get? V plus IARA plus IDXD plus IQXQ E naught. So from here to end of the vector IQXQ, I have to draw E naught. Okay, so we can also in the same phases, we can also draw the terminal with the terminal voltage V lying in horizontal direction also. And here again IARA is perpendicular to IA and IAXD and IQXQ are perpendicular to ID and IQ respectively. So we have to do some calculations for the phasor diagram. See, next we will go for calculations from the phasor diagram. So from the phasor diagram we have to do some calculations. So if you see the figure, next figure here, dot line AC, this one dot line AC, dotted line AC, it has been drawn perpendicular to IA, right? This IC is perpendicular to this IA, and CB here, CB is drawn perpendicular to the phasor E naught. For E naught perpendicular to phasor E naught, I am drawing CB. So the angle ACB, right? The angle ACB is nothing but phi, because the angle between two lines is same as between the perpendiculars. So if you see the perpendiculars IA and E naught, the angle is phi. Again, I am drawing the perpendicular to IA and I am drawing the perpendicular to E naught. So the angle will be between them also phi. And I can write that ID is equal to IA sin phi. That means IQ is equal to IA cos phi. From here I can write ID is equal to IA sin phi and IQ is equal to IA cos phi. So I can write IA is equal to IQ by cos phi. And in the triangle ABC, in the triangle ABC, BC by AC. Okay, so see, BC by AC, nothing but this is perfect triangle cos phi. Okay, so BC by AC is equal to cos phi, or AC is equal to BC by cos phi. AC is equal to BC by cos phi. That is equal to BC is nothing but IQ XQ and divided by cos phi. Okay, all the equations I am showing you here. BC by cos phi. BC is nothing but IQ XQ by cos phi. That is equal to, I can write IQ XQ by cos phi as IQ into, IA into XQ, because IQ by cos phi, I can write IA. So IA into XQ. XQ is normal like this. XQ is as it is. In place of IQ by cos phi, I can write IA. IQ by cos phi, IA. So IA into XQ. So I got cos phi and sin phi. From that I can write tan phi. So tan phi is equal to, see here, tan phi is equal to AD plus AC by OE plus ED, sin by cos. Okay. AC plus AD by OE plus OD. That is equal to AD is nothing but, here AD is nothing but V sin phi, and AC I can write IQ XQ. Sorry, IA XQ, not IQ, IA XQ. Okay. Next, OD I can write V cos phi. Sorry, OE I can write cos phi, V cos phi, and ED, this is IA RA. Okay. So I can write this formula tan phi for generating sums. That means for generating action I can say positive, and for motoring action reverse direction will be there, so negative. So see here, V sin phi plus IA XQ plus here for generating and minus here for motoring. Okay, for motoring operation we have to take two signs as minus, and formula is same. So actually the angle, we have to find the angle phi. From the above equation, from motoring and generating equations, we can find phi. So phi is equal to tan inverse of this value, right? And for generating action, xi is equal to, or gamma is equal to phi minus, call it as xi minus phi. So gamma, this one I am calling it as gamma. Gamma is equal to xi minus phi for generating action, and phi minus xi for motoring action. Okay. So from the figure here 37.73, from the figure 37.73, I can write, by neglecting the armature resistance. So from the, see here, we can write the formulas, these two formulas for E naught from the 37.73 figure. So E naught is equal to total, this one E naught is equal to V cos phi plus IQ RA plus ID XD. This one IQ RA plus ID XD. Okay, from here this is ID XD, this is IQ RA, this is IQ RA. That means this is for generating, all pluses are for generating, and if you put minus, it is motoring. Next, and if you neglect the armature resistance as shown in the figure 37.72 here, before figure here. So I am neglecting the armature resistance here. The angle gamma can be found directly from xi is equal to phi plus gamma. Xi is equal to phi plus gamma from this for generating, and xi is equal to phi minus gamma for motoring. So actually xi is equal to phi plus or minus gamma, right? Now we know the formula id is equal to ia sin xi. Okay, so that is equal to ia into sin xi. Xi means I am substituting phi plus or minus gamma. Okay, so phi plus or minus gamma. So from this I can write iq is equal to ia cos phi, and ia is in place of cos phi. Phi means, sorry, gamma. Xi means ia cos xi. Xi means phi plus gamma. Okay, so from this I can write these formulas, and from the figure 37.73 v sin gamma is equal to iq xq or ia xq cos phi plus gamma. Okay, so from this v sin phi is equal to ia xq cos phi plus or minus gamma. So I am extending this formula cos a plus b formula, a plus or minus b formula, cos a cos b plus sin a sin b. Okay, so ia xq cos a cos b plus or minus sin a sin b, that is equal to ia xq cos phi cot gamma plus or minus, I can write in place of sin phi ia xq, again multiplying. So actually I am dividing this with sin gamma. Okay, dividing this with sin gamma. So cos phi cos gamma by sin gamma, it becomes cot gamma. Cos by sin cot, and sin by cos tan, right? So plus or minus, multiplying again into the bracket ia xq into sin gamma gets cancelled. It is only left over with sin phi. Okay, so finally v is equal to this one. So from this ia xq cos phi cot gamma is equal to v plus or minus ia xq sin phi, right? So if I multiply both sides and take out this formula, this will be the formula. From this I am moving this one to this side. Okay, so I am left over with cot gamma, and I am reversing it for tan gamma. So for tan gamma, this will be becoming denominator, and this will be getting numerator. So ia xq cos phi by v plus or minus ia xq sin phi. Okay, so plus is for, here we have to put plus for generators and minus for motors, synchronous motors. So when RA is neglected here, I can write simply E naught is equal to V cos gamma plus ID XD. So if I am neglecting the RA, I have to neglect the IA RA drop also. So that is equal to IA RA drop, if I neglect, E naught is equal to V cos phi ID XD. Nothing but I can write IQ RA plus ID XD. That is for generating, and for, if you put minus here, that is for motoring. Next topic, the power developed by a synchronous generator. So every machine will be developing the power. So what is the power developed by a synchronous generator? So if you neglect RA, hence IA square RA, that means copper losses can also be neglected, and then the power developed PD by an alternator, it is equal to nothing but given output power. Okay, so PD, the power developed, is equal to output power. So per phase power output of an alternator, P output, is equal to VIA cos phi, voltage into current into power factor of both voltage and current. So VIA cos phi, that is equal to power developed, that is PD. So as seen from figure 37.72, from figure A, I can write IQ XQ is equal to V sin gamma, and ID XD is equal to nothing but E naught minus V cos gamma. So from this I can write ID is equal to IA sine phi plus gamma, and IQ is equal to IA cos phi plus z. Okay, so all this remembering and substituting the equation 3 in equation 2. So in place of IQ and ID, I am substituting here in equation 2 and solving for IA cos phi. I will get IA cos phi is equal to, so if I substitute here ID in place of ID and in place of IQ, like this, IA cos phi I have to get. So IA cos phi is equal to V by XD sin phi plus 2 by 2 XQ sin 2 gamma minus V by 2 XD sin 2 gamma. Okay, so finally substituting the above equation in equation 1. So finally I am substituting IA cos phi value in equation 1 here. In place of IA, V into IA. So V into this all. So I will get E naught V by XD sin gamma plus V square into XD minus XQ by 2XD XQ sin 2 gamma. So the total power which is developed is 3 times of the above power, right? Here this is the one term and this is the one term and this is 2 times. So totally 3 times of the above power. So this developed power is consisting of 2 components. The first term represents power due to field excitation. This one, the power due to field excitation, and second term it gives the reluctance power. This is the reluctance power. Okay, so if at all I am making XD is equal to XQ. Now the machine has a cylindrical rotor, right? And the second term will be becoming 0. There will not be second term, and the power given is only by the first term. And in other terms, if no field excitation is there, that becomes E naught is equal to 0, right? So if E naught is equal to 0, then the first expression will also become 0. And power developed is given by the second one. Okay, so if XD is equal to XQ, this term will not be there, second term. And if E naught excitation is not there, this term will not be there. So if this term is not there, power will be like this. If this term is not there, power will be only second term. Okay, always use gamma positive for generation and negative for motors. Next topic, parallel operation of alternators. Okay, so if the operation of connecting an alternator in parallel with another alternator or by using a common bus bars, it is known as synchronization. Okay, if two alternators are connected in parallel or they are connected with common bus bar, it is called as synchronization. So actually alternators used in the power systems are connected in parallel with many alternators. It means that alternator is connected to a live system of constant voltage and constant frequency. If you connect the alternators in parallel, that means the system, the total alternator system is having constant voltage and constant frequency. Okay, so actually the electrical system to which this alternator is connected, it has so many alternators and loads, right, on it. So there is no matter what the power is developed by the incoming alternator and the voltage and how is the frequency of the system, because it will be remaining same. So in case that alternator is said to be connected to infinite bus bar. Okay, so if infinite bus bar means if so many alternators are connected along with the loads, then there we are not bothering about the power delivered by the incoming alternator, and we do not bother about the voltage and frequency because they will be remaining same. So this type of connection is called as infinite bus bar. Okay, so it is never advisable to connect a stationary alternator to a live bus bar because the stator induced EMF will be becoming zero and short circuiting will be resulting. Okay, so in order to do the perfect synchronization of the alternators, we have to remember always the three following results. So first one, the terminal voltage effective, that means the terminal voltage of the incoming alternator must be same as the bus bar voltage. Okay, so if the bus bar is having 240 volts, then the terminal voltage of the alternator should also be 240 volts. Okay, and the speed of the incoming machine which we are connecting, it should be also having the same frequency equal to the bus bar frequency. The frequencies should match. First one, voltages should match, and second one, frequency should also match. And third last one, the phase of the alternator voltage must be identical with the phase of the bus bar voltage. Okay, so because if whenever the switch is closed or open, at this instant the two voltages should have same phase relationships. Okay, and first condition one, first one is allowed, it is indicated by the voltmeter. Conditions, how is the voltmeter, then we can confirm that both the bus bar and alternator are on same voltage. And 2 and 3 are indicated by synchronizing lamps or synchronoscope. 2 and 3 conditions, the satisfied conditions 2 and 3 should be indicated by synchronization lamps. These are called as synchronization lamps. That means frequency should be equal and phases should be equal, or these are called as synchronoscope. Okay, now we will see how these alternators are synchronized. Next one is synchronization of alternators. Okay, so see here, suppose we are taking only two machines. So these two machines has to be synchronized with, or they has to be put on the bus bar to which already machine 1 is connected. Okay, so this is connected with the help of two lamps L1 and L2. These are called as synchronizing lamps. Okay, and it should be noted that this E1 and E2 are in phase that are relative to the external circuit, but they should be in direct phase opposing the local circuit. Okay, as shown in the dotted lines, there will be always relative to the direct phase opposition to the dotted circuits. So suppose if the speed of incoming transformer 2 is not brought up to the speed of machine 1, that means if both the speeds are not equal, then the frequency will also be different. So there will be existing, if frequency is also different, then there will be a phase difference between their voltages. But even when the voltages are equal in magnitude, they will be, which is determined the field excitation, but there will be some difference, phase difference between the voltages. So this phase difference will be continuously changing with changes in the frequency. So what happens, this result in the resultant voltage which will be undergone many changes similar to the top frequency changes of the beats produced. So two sound sources of nearly equal frequency are sounded together. So see here, these are the frequencies, two sounds, first, second one. Okay, so sometimes resultant voltage is also maximum and some other times it is also minimum. Hence, the current is alternatingly sometimes maximum and sometimes minimum. So due to this changing current through the lamps, a flicker will be produced. And flicker will be produced, and the frequency, this is called as flicker. The frequency of the flicker is f2 minus f1. Okay, now the lamps will be dark, glowing out in regular intervals alternately. Okay, so the lamp will dark out and glow, dark out and glow, fade off, on, off, on. So when the off is there, that means when the darkness is there, this darkness will be indicating that two voltages E1 and E2 are in exact phase opposition to the load circuit. So there will be no any resultant current through the lamps. If it is on, so see here, the synchronization is done at the middle of the dark period. Okay, now when the dark period is running on, the synchronization is done at the dark period, middle of the dark period. That's why sometimes it is also called as lamps dark synchronization. Okay, and some engineers also prefer lamp bright synchronization, because at the time of brightness we are going to synchronize. So some engineers prefers this one also, lamp bright. Some engineers prefer lamp dark synchronization. So some engineers will be preferring this lamp bright synchronization because lamps are much more sensitive to the changes in voltages at their maximum brightness. Okay, when compared to the darkness, these lamps are seems to be more sensitive when they are having maximum brightness. So hence a sharper and more accurate synchronization is obtained. Okay, so in that case, the lamps are connected as in the circuit I am showing below, like this, as in the circuit. So this circuit is getting when we are synchronizing the lamps at the lamp bright when we are doing lamp bright synchronization. Okay, so now what happens, the lamp will be growing brightest when two voltages are in phase with the bus bar voltage. Okay, so because as we are connecting these alternators to the bus bars, we are saying that the lamps will grow brighter, more brighter when the two voltages are in phase with the bus bar voltage, because the voltage across them is twice the voltage of each machine, right? So as the voltage is twice the voltage of each machine, these lights will be glowing more dark. So this all about synchronization of alternators. Now we will go through this synchronization according to the three-phase alternators, how the three-phase alternators are also synchronized. In the next classes, I will explain you three-phase alternator synchronization.